All right, you read the title. You know what this is about. We're just gonna get right into it. You wanna get big biceps, you're starting from ground zero, this is what you're gonna wanna do. First things first, you wanna start isolating your biceps early on. Do not take the advice that compound lifts are enough. Even in the early stages of training, you wanna start isolating them and building a good foundation, nice mind-muscle connection, conditioning in that area, volume tolerance, that kind of thing. And you wanna make sure that you're milking it out early on, giving the bicep a head start in development. Instead of just solely relying on chin-ups, rows, and other big compound movements where your back will easily just eat up all the volume and take all the growth, and your bicep will just stall after a certain point and you'll just keep spinning your wheels. So that's number one, start isolating early on. The next piece of advice is going to be to make sure that you're choosing exercises that are easy to track progression on. Some examples would be like an easy bar curl, straight bar curl, dumbbell curl, cable curl, but you've got to keep the range of motion the same, and you have to make sure that you're keeping track of the weight and the reps that you do. And so that's mainly what this is about. You want to be able to track your progress and make sure that your biceps are getting stronger over time, or doing the same weight for more reps over time, or just progressing in some way so that you can see tangibly that, okay, performance has gone up in this area. I should see it reflected in my biceps getting bigger. You do want to do things like taking sets to failure, but for the most part, you want to be able to make sure that you're tracking the load on the bar and the reps you're doing over time. And so the next piece of advice is do not simply stick to high reps. While high reps are great and they can lead to great progress, and you can stick to them for the most part, but if you do want to go into lower reps, I do highly recommend that you give that a try. And in fact, it might even be what ends up beating any issue that you're having right now as far as like progress stalling in your biceps. Doing some heavy work does a lot for you, just because you're experiencing a heavier load, which is putting the bicep into a new kind of adaptation. And through doing that, and if say you start out doing like a dumbbell curl, or you're curling the 50s, and currently you can only do 3 sets of 3 reps with it, right? A 3x3. You'd never do that for arm training typically. No one would ever tell you to do that, but you can if you wanted to, assuming that it's with good form and you're not just way outside of your realm of possibility as far as your strength capabilities. But you can build up from there, right? So you do the 3x3. Next week you come by, you maybe do 3 sets of 4, 4, 3, and just keep adding reps as you go. And then eventually you take those low reps initially that you started with and get them into a higher rep range. Say you take that 3x3 and turn it into a 3x10. Do you think your biceps wouldn't make any progress if you did that? Let's be real here. Obviously they're going to grow like weeds, but you got to make sure that you're willing to try stuff like that out and be smart with it. Obviously don't just go do singles and triples on your biceps all of a sudden and that's it. No, this is just something you can throw in there, and it's yet another tool in your arsenal. Now, building on that, to be able to do heavy work with your biceps, you have to make sure that your connective tissue is strong. And in order to get stronger tendons and bones and ligaments and things like that, you need to be able to drive blood into those areas and make sure that you're doing your active recovery. So something like a resistance band is amazing for that. You can do the resistance band curls. You can do it's like a little rubber band or a web where you do extensions with your fingers like this. And that's really good for alleviating tendonitis if that's something that you're dealing with, especially bicep tendonitis. Now, these things are going to help you a lot, but they do take a while to reap the benefits. So make sure that you stay consistent with them and don't treat them like you're doing an actual exercise. You don't want to be doing them to like failure or anything. You simply want to drive blood into the joints and get those tendons strong. And the stronger that they get, the more that you'll be capable of doing. And it's only going to be a benefit to you overall. I think this is a big missing piece in a lot of people's training, is they don't train their tendons enough. The muscles can get all big and strong as they want, but at the end of the day, if that tendon is weak, well, we know what happens.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Right? We've seen the videos. People tearing a pec, people tearing a fucking bicep, people tearing whatever else. It happens because the tendon is weak and you don't want to deal with that. Not usually too much of an issue in natural lifters, but you still see it here and there. And the last piece of advice here is just simply knowing that you will get decent biceps fairly easily. It shouldn't take too long. If you're starting from like literally zero, and your genetics are like okay in that area, you'll see good biceps within like, 6 months or so. 6 months, within a year, you'll probably put on an inch, if not a little more. They'll be looking pretty good. But as time goes on and your measurement keeps increasing and that area gets more and more advanced, understand that it's simply going to be a matter of time and perseverance. Getting truly great biceps and just amazing arm development in general, it isn't a night and day, it isn't an overnight process. It's a process that happens across numbers of years. Okay, so make sure you're putting your time in and you understand what it takes. And if you don't, and you're not willing to put in that effort, then don't complain when you don't have arms as great as you'd like them to be, right? It's just simple as that. You gotta put the time in and you gotta work hard. But yeah, nothing worth having in life comes easy. If you like the video, leave me your comments in the comments section down below. If you want to see more like it, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. I will see you in the next one. Yeah, great. That was a great way to end it off. Yeah. Bye.